Today's episode of Maine Web News is brought to you by Computer Improvements. Visit them at 101 Water Street in Skowhegan or call 474-3151 for all of your computer needs. That's 474-3151.
If you have money to invest, the only place that you want to be is gold and silver related assets. Bullion, coin, and shares. And that's it. There is no other place to go. The stock market is going to go down, and it's going to go down precipitously over the next few years. Can't give you any timing because I'm not that smart. And neither are the people at the Federal Reserve. Second of all, we're going to have, in finality, a break in the bond market bubble. Now, what is happening is that there's probably about $5-6 trillion in federal treasury and agency paper floating around the world. I believe that the Federal Reserve is going to have to end up buying it all. And once that's accomplished, the bubble will break, and interest rates will rise, and the price of bonds will go down, and the value of bonds will go down. So you don't want to be in the bond market, you don't want to be in treasuries, you don't want to be in the stock market with the exception of gold and silver shares, and you do want to have gold and silver coin, because maybe in the final analysis, that might be the only thing that's spendable, except for trade and barter.
Right. The only problem, Bob, I agree with all you're saying. People should have food, they should have a way to have water, they should stock up on gold. But if you behave in such a manner, you might end up on a terrorist watch list. They might show up at a hospital to take your baby.
Yeah, well, as you know, I did a program on that with Alex Jones not too long ago. And so what? I've been on a terrorist watch list since 1967.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I saw someone from Peace Action, Maine with a sign the other day. I talked about, you know, the old saying, when they came for the communists, I didn't stand up because I'm not a communist, and then they came for the black folks, and I didn't stand up because I'm not black, and when they came for me, there was no one left to stand up. You know, eventually we're all going to end up on these lists at the way it's heading.
Let me tell you something. The United States government controls the military, or at least they think they do. And I do a program every Thursday. I've done it for over 5 years. It's the most popular program on Blog Talk Radio. And there's 335 programs on there worldwide. And we're ahead of anybody by 50%. And I talk to, by email as well as phone, with officers, non-commissioned officers, and grunts, we'll call them, in the military, and retirees as well. And I help them because they don't have any training in finance like I have, and nobody cares about them. So that's why I did the program. I'm a veteran myself, and I belong to the American Legion. The government seems to think that they're going to be able to tell the military, well, you go do this and you go do that, in relation to perhaps demonstrations in the United States. In fact, I have one unit, 80,000 men that's been trained to break up demonstrations and things like that. And the military is not going to follow illegal orders issued by a non-citizen who calls himself president. I'll tell you that right now. And what's going to happen if government pulls that is the people are going to back the military, and the government's going to be sunk, and there'll be a coup. We're talking about 80,000 well-trained, battle-hardened troops. There are 310 million people in America. There are 450 million weapons. There are 200 million people who own them. There are 80 million veterans, and of them, 40%, or half of them, have seen combat. Now, does any army in the world really want to tangle that in a guerrilla insurgency combat? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
And they're going to be outnumbered.
Do you think
20, 30, 40, or 50 to 1.
Is that why we're finding out that returning veterans are being put on watch lists?
Absolutely, because they're listening to people like me who are telling them, play it cool, don't get in trouble, put your weapons together, but get ready, because this could get real nasty. And the military is not going to back the government. Demonstrations are one thing, but if somebody pulls the trigger, and they've only got 80,000 troops for 50 major cities in the United States, you're going to be kidding me. In the police departments, with all of their gear, they've been militarized by the federal government. They don't stand a chance.
Right, and do you think that's why we're seeing a movement towards them trying to normalize the idea of having foreign troops here?
Yeah, blue helmets make great targets.
One thing I think, if you look back through history, the Federal Reserve is what, our third central bank? Seems like, when it becomes the popular notion that, people start to see the private central bank is causing a lot of the problems. Abraham Lincoln started printing money. John F. Kennedy decided to work towards abolishing the Fed, and he was looking to start printing money. If President Obama or a President Ron Paul wanted to end the Fed next week, how would they go about doing that?
Well, it's very simple. You transfer everything over to the Treasury Department, where it was prior to 1913, as an edict from the U.S. Constitution.
What if a former New York head of the Federal Reserve is the U.S. Treasury Secretary?
Well, you have to live with that or replace them.
Right. But we could go back to printing greenbacks.
Which we should do. But they've got to be backed by gold.
All right. Well, Bob, tell us about the International Forecaster and how people can get more of your views and tips. You're so knowledgeable on so many areas. Where can people get more of this good information?
Well, the International Forecaster is now over 21 years old. And prior to that, I was a stockbroker for 28 years, owned my own firm in Wall Street, and specialized in gold and silver shares. I was the largest in the world. And this publication comes out on Wednesdays and Saturdays by email, runs around 40 pages each time. And anything that you need to know about anything that's going on in the world, we know it, and it's in that publication. We also have a hard copy that goes out twice a month for those who are not on the internet. You can get a free introductory copy by going to theinternationalforecaster.com, theinternational, Forecaster.com. You can also go to www.intforecaster.com, intforecaster.com. If you have a question and we answer everyone, you can go to Bob, B-O-B, at intforecaster.com. Bob at intforecaster.com. Or you can call toll-free 877-479-8178. That's 877-479-8178. And they have an offer there for a free one-year subscription to the International Forecaster. You should look into it if you're interested. It's a fantastic deal.
Absolutely. I read the International Forecaster every week. It's the best source of information on money and so many other things. Bob, thanks a lot for coming back on today.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure to visit with New Englanders. And I'll be back again anytime you want to have me.
Excellent. Well, we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, Bob.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Consider making www.mainwebnews.com your homepage. You'll be able to use our Start Page search engine, which does not record your IP address or track your searches like other search engines.